The Bible tells us Cain killed Abel because God rejected his sacrifice. But that's not where the murder started. It started years earlier, in a feeling so ordinary we all recognize it. The slow burn of believing your brother has something you can't have. By the time Cain lifted his hand against Abel, he had already killed him 1,000 times in his mind. The field was just where it finally happened. This is the story of the first murder, but more than that, it's the story of how comparison becomes hatred, and how hatred becomes action before you even name it. Cain worked the soil. The Bible says he tilled the ground. The Hebrew word is the same one used for the curse God gave Adam. Painful labor, sweat, resistance. Every morning, the same field. Every season, the same gamble. Bury seed in dirt. Wait months. Hope rain comes, pests pass, blight misses your row. Then finally, food. Maybe. There's a particular loneliness to farming. Your companions don't look back. The soil takes everything you give and stays silent. You can't name a field. You can't lead it home. You just serve it and hope it serves you back. Cain came home tired. His body ached. His hands were rough, and when his parents asked about his day, he had nothing to tell. Just the same field, the same waiting, the same uncertainty. But his brother Abel came home from the hills with stories. Abel kept flocks. The Bible calls him a keeper of sheep. The Hebrew word for keep is the same used for Adam keeping the garden. Care, attention, relationship. Abel's wealth walked beside him. He named his animals. They knew his voice and followed. Every morning, his success was visible, breathing, multiplying. Every evening, he slept under stars that moved with him, traveler's lights for a traveler's life. He came home with color in his words, where the wolf was seen, how the lost kid was found, the way the stream changed after rain. His parents listened. His mother smiled. His father nodded with recognition. This was the life of a son who moved through the world and was answered by it. And Cain? Cain sat with dirt under his nails and watched his brother hold the room with stories Cain couldn't tell. The field gave no stories. The field gave only more field. The difference between them wasn't just their work. It was what their work made them feel. Abel felt seen. Cain felt invisible. And slowly, invisibly, something began to grow. In the course of time, the Hebrew suggests years, not days, long enough for Cain to know exactly how this would go, long enough for comparison to become habit, then resentment, then something he didn't name. They brought offerings, family tradition. They'd done this before. Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Hebrew is specific, the best, the choicest, selected with care. These were animals he knew. He gave God what cost him something. Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil, not the first fruits. The Bible doesn't use that word for Cain, just some. What remained, what he could spare after the family ate, after the seed was stored. The fire fell on Abel's offering. The ancient sign, God sees, God receives, God says yes. Cain's offering sat. Wind took his smoke sideways. No voice, no fire, just public rejection before his brother, before the God he was trying to reach. And here is where the story turns. God didn't reject Cain. He spoke to him. Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? The door was open. The conversation was possible. Cain could have asked, "What is right? Teach me." He could have wept, confessed, changed. He walked away, face downcast, and in that walking, he passed something at the door of his heart. The Hebrew is vivid. Sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Ravats, like a wild animal, coiled, waiting. But beasts need the door opened. They need invitation. Cain left the door ajar. Time passed. The text doesn't say how long. Long enough for Cain to see Abel continue in favor. Long enough for the silence between them to become its own language. Then Cain spoke. Let's go out to the field. His ground, where he knew every stone, every place the eye couldn't reach from the path. They talked. The Bible breaks the sentence. Ancient manuscripts disagree on the words. Some traditions say Cain argued about the sacrifice, demanded Abel admit his favor was unfair. Others say Abel tried to warn him, to turn him back. But watch Abel. The moment he realized this conversation had shifted, the way you see that someone you trusted has already decided something you haven't agreed to. Cain didn't shout, didn't announce. The first murder was quiet, intimate, the work of hands that had shared bread, shared parents, shared the entire known world. And then, one standing, one on the ground that received him. The blood cried out. The text says it plainly. Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Not metaphor. The first human blood to leave its body unjustly, and the earth itself responded, rejecting cover-up, demanding witness. Where is your brother Abel? God knew. The question was for confession. I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? The first lie to God. The first deflection. As if he hadn't just ended the keeping. As if the field wasn't his invitation, his ground, his choice. What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out. Now you are under a curse. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth. But even here, mercy. The mark. Protection on the murderer so that vengeance wouldn't multiply the violence. Cain built a city, named it after his son. His line produced the first musician, the first metalworker, the first poet of violence. The first murderer fathered civilization. The Bible doesn't resolve this. It lets it sit, heavy, unresolved.
So why did Cain really kill Abel? Not because God rejected his offering. That was the spark. The fire was years of waking up and feeling second, of comparing his hidden struggle to his brother's visible success, of letting jealousy sit until it became capable of anything. Sin is crouching at your door. Still, for all of us, the desire to have what someone else has, to be seen as they're seen, to win a comparison that was never actually a competition. Cain opened his, slowly, silently, until the beast was inside and he couldn't remember inviting it. The field is still there. The conversation with God is still available. The warning still echoes for anyone willing to hear it early, while the jealousy is still small enough to name. Two brothers, one choice. What is crouching at your door? Please like and subscribe for more stories like this.